My name is David with Mammoth Overland, and today we're going to cover some tips on how to tow your off-road trailer off-road. So today I wanted to dive into the world of off-roading a trailer. Having a trailer definitely changes the dynamics of how you are going to approach different obstacles. There's a bunch of tips and tricks that I've learned over the years of traveling with the trailer. So I wanted to go over those with you and hope that they help you in your travels. And we're going to start with the tires. So this may surprise you, it did me as well, but you actually want to drop the PSI in the tires. A lot of the confusion comes with these tires are not driven, so why are you going to drop the PSI in them? A lot of it has to do with protecting the contents of the trailer. So all trailers have a little bit of bounce to them. They're pretty light. This one specifically is a 1,650 pound trailer, dry. It's got 3,500 HD suspension on it, meaning it can take a full load of 3,500 pounds on the axle, but it's pretty stiff if it's not loaded up. So the sidewall is gonna act as some of your suspension and not let it bounce as much as it would at full PSI. Another thing is when you're going over obstacles, it's going to allow the tire to contort and flex and mold around the obstacle a little bit more. So I'm about to enter a rock garden. At full PSI, these aren't going to flex at all, and it's going to be a wall essentially against the rocks, and it's going to make it really difficult to get up and over it. As soon as I lower the PSI of this, it's going to allow the tire to flex and form, and it should be easier to get over that obstacle and not provide as much of a barrier. So we're going to drop these to 15 to 18 PSI, and that should help a lot with the bounce of the trailer as well as getting over obstacles. Another thing you're going to want to keep in mind is how to approach hills like this. So this surface is really soft. Sometimes it's really muddy. Either way, traction is not great on this hill. The thing about towing a trailer up a hill is all the tongue weight is going to put a lot of weight on your rear tires, which is great, but it's going to unload your front tires, which means you're going to not have that pulling force that you would typically have when not towing a trailer. Not to mention, you have extra weight that you're pulling up the hill. This does not mean you need to mob up the hill. You can kind of go slow and technical if you want to, but you need to account for the fact that you're going to have lost traction in the front tires. So with the vehicle only, you can tell the Bronco is not struggling at all to get up this hill. There's no loss in traction. The RPMs are low. It walks up this hill no problem at all. With the trailer, the Bronco has to work a little harder. I tried to take it slow so you could see the difference between the two, but getting that weight moving again is certainly more difficult, and you can hear those front wheels fighting for traction. So I was still able to get up the hill no problem. Just something to keep in mind that you will unweight the front and lose traction towing a trailer. Another thing you're going to want to think about is track width. So how much wider is the trailer than the tow vehicle? In my case, I'm driving a Bronco towing a Mammoth HV, and the HV is quite a bit wider than the Bronco. What that means is if the Bronco fits through something, it doesn't necessarily mean the HV is going to fit through that same obstacle. There's a lot of stuff where I'm at out here in Tahuya where it's really tight for the Bronco, and the trailer might not be able to fit through that. Or if the Bronco clears it no problem, it's very likely that the HV is going to end up driving over a stump or a rock or something like that the Bronco didn't have to. Along the same lines, track width also affects how you take corners. You're gonna have to take corners a little bit wider of a radius to ensure the trailer can get around that same obstacle. So if you're up against a tree or rocks or bushes or whatever the case may be, just know that the tow vehicle is gonna have to take that much wider than it would if a trailer was not being towed. There's a really good example at the top of this hill. It's a little sketchy, but I think it'll perfectly illustrate what I'm talking about here. So I'll do one pass without the trailer, and then I'll do one pass with.
So I wanted to show these to you again side by side, starting with the top-down footage. You can see that the Bronco takes it a lot wider with the trailer than without, and the trailer still hugs the corner pretty tight. So here's another view of that same corner, this time head on, and I'm going to pause it right here so you can get a better look. You can see here just how much wider I had to take the corner in order for the trailer to make it around.
Something else you want to keep in mind is your breakover angle. Now, breakover angle is something you have to worry about when you're not towing. It is essentially at what point you're going to get high centered on something. So the angle that meets between your front and rear tires. So when you're towing, you have two breakover angles you have to worry about. There's the breakover angle on the towing vehicle itself, and then there's the breakover angle between the rear wheels of the towing vehicle and the trailer wheels. Those angles are going to be different. So I know for a fact that this hill is an issue for the Bronco if you don't approach it correctly, but it's definitely an issue for the trailer as well. Luckily, the vehicle I'm towing has a fully steel frame with rock sliders attached to it. So I have a lot of underbody protection, stuff that I can slide the trailer over this obstacle. But this is something you need to keep in mind, that it may be a point that you can get hung up on. I'll even overlay some footage where I wasn't able to get over a hill and what I had to do to get over that. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. But for right now, let me show you how to get over something like this.
So the trick to approaching something where breakover angle might be an issue is to approach the obstacle really wide and then cut to the other side when your front wheels crest the hill. It's a lot harder to do with the trailer since the trailer wheels themselves are not turning, but I tried to do that here. Here's another angle from the top down so you can see how I approach this obstacle. This approach actually didn't go correctly. You can see my back end shift over to the driver's side, which ate up all the angle that I had and was going to use for the trailer to pivot that going over the obstacle. As promised, here's another situation where breakover was an issue and how I handled it. What's different about this hill is buried in the middle of the hill is a massive boulder, so the dirt didn't really give away. The face of the rock sliders just dug into that rock and I couldn't get over. So what I had to do was stack rocks and a log underneath the wheel to give it some lift to get that rock slider up and over the boulder. Again, not the prettiest. I did not anticipate the log to shoot out of the tire like it did, but it did get me over the obstacle.
I'm gonna throw a little bonus in here, a feature that I think that everyone buying our trailer should get, and that is the lock and roll hitch. Right now, the trailer and the Bronco are both in off-camber situations going the opposite direction. So the trailer is 16 degrees leaning that way, the Bronco is 12 degrees the other way, meaning there's a 28-degree difference between the trailer and the Bronco. If you have a normal 2-inch ball and cup, it is very likely that one of two things is going to happen. That cup is going to pop off the ball, which is a horrible situation right here, or something is going to break. Either way, not a situation I would want to be in. Something like this, depending on what kind of trail you like, the trails I like, this isn't incredibly uncommon. So the lock and roll hitch, which is a fully articulating hitch, is a game changer for this type of scenario. Before we go, I have one more tip for you, but it's not really something that I can film or explain too much. So when you're off-roading, there's a lot you got to pay attention to. Your surroundings, the placement of your vehicle, what your front wheels are doing, what your back wheels are doing, where traction's going to be, stuff like that. You have to think about all that before you start towing a trailer. Towing a trailer adds a completely different dynamic. So I would start slow, get really comfortable with really basic obstacles, even starting like parking lots if you haven't towed before. Get to know what track the trailer is going to take around corners versus just the vehicle, because like I said, the trailer is going to corner a little tighter than the tow vehicle is going to. So just ease your way into it. There's a lot happening, there's a lot to think about. So get some practice. I like to come out here I'm at Tahuya ORV in Washington State. I like to come out to places like this in a kind of controlled environment, something that I know the trails, I know what to expect, and kind of hone my skills as an off-roader. So try something like that out before you get on the trail that you are completely unfamiliar with, you don't have service, and then you're really out of luck if something bad happens. But I hope this video helped. Trailers are a great thing to add to your overlanding kit. Everything's just a lot more comfortable. Being able to cook in the kitchen in the back and stuff like that. You can also drop the trailer and go explore more if you want to, if you like a campsite. So a lot of benefits to overlanding with a trailer, but you need to know how to overland that trailer when the trails get tough. So I hope this video helped. If you're interested in learning more about Mammoth Overland, go to our website at mammothoverland.com, where you can see our HV, TL, our LE trailers, and our woolly trailers, and our concept rooftop camper called the Skull. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to info@mammothoverland.com. Again, I hope this video helped you out. Until the next one, get out there and get exploring.